I think everything kind of started when I was in the 8th grade when we first moved here, and on the second day of school, a student said, "Mainlanders should be stoned."
I've dealt with 12 years, 12 hard, harrowing years of up and up racism.
Sometimes I thought I was literally white, and I'd be like, why is there other black people? Because I hated myself so much.
I was always made to feel like the outsider, whether it was like explicitly said or just little comments or big comments. I was always the one that didn't belong, I guess, for lack of a better way.
So they think that I didn't speak the same language, and they're like, oh, stay away from her. She doesn't understand our language. And I'm hearing what exactly they're saying, because obviously I understand.
I don't think it's fair to anybody to live a life like that, a life of fear, a life of, not knowing what's going to happen next.
This hurts me way more than I think, and this impacts me way more than I expect, and it's like I wish I never had to deal with any of this.
So it doesn't matter what your color is or what your gender is, hate will grow, and one day you will also be a victim.
I came in, I hugged my parents. I hugged them so hard because I was like, wow, they really hate us. I've dealt with 12 years, 12 hard, harrowing years of up and up racism. He referred to me a few weeks after was bad, but he asked me if I was out of my cotton-picking mind. I never knew what that meant at 11 years old, and my friend, Grace, she moved away that next year, and she messaged me about it. She goes, "Do you know what that meant?" And I went, "No, I don't. Why?" She goes, "This is what that..." I was like, oh my gosh. Majority of these experiences that I myself have experienced have been either in these hallways, on this bus back here. I personally, now that I see this back here, I personally cannot get any closer to that bus than I am now, because the harrowing things that I've seen and heard and felt have been disgusting. They've been traumatizing. People have brought on the song Alabama Nigger, talking about the slaves, talking about hanging black people. One man got up on the bus and said, "What do you call a bunch of black people hanging from trees?" An Alabama wind chime, talking about all the young men, women, boys, girls, children, babies hanging by their necks in trees. There has been times when people have said that they are going to slit my nigger throat. They will burn the niggers of Torbay to the ground. A lot of nasty, nasty things. People talking about, like, skinning me. People talking about how monkeys like me don't belong in the school. My younger brother, who has special needs, he was called a retarded monkey, and people have barbarized me for not only being a young black woman in this school, but being one who wants change.
When I first arrived here, obviously when you first move somewhere, you're very excited. You're like a newfound optimism for this is a fresh start, things will be different. But when I went to school and I saw such a haste towards being someone new within your community, I started to feel excluded. I think everything kind of started when I was in the 8th grade when we first moved here, and on the second day of school, a student said, "Mainlanders should be stoned." Shortly after that, I was beginning to find swastikas in my textbooks. When I brought it up to my teachers, some of them said we can't do anything about it because students around here are into that sort of thing. I said, okay. And when I started to find more and more in my math textbook and I brought it up to my math teacher, he tried to calm me down and say that it was just like the Hindu symbol. In the 9th grade, I had worn my sari for Diwali, just to help celebrate Diwali with my family, to school. And it kind of spiraled out of there. Kids were calling me names when I wasn't at school. And throughout the year, They made fun of me for wearing it during that one specific day for Diwali. And before graduation, which was in June, they, when I wasn't there, mentioned that they were going to rip off my sari, destroy it, and pull my hair, and like beat me up.
No matter how I tried to address racism as an ally, as somebody just calling something out, being the specific victim, it didn't matter. It was always the same response. They didn't mean it. They don't know what it means. That's not what's really happening here. Oh, that's just one time. That's just one person. Excuse after excuse, instead of saying, yeah, there might be something to this. And there's that many coincidences and instances, I can no longer deny that there is like a subculture of silence, of tolerance, to letting it fester. But again, why is that? I don't know. But to allow children to run around and draw swastikas and then basically say like we're the ones who have a problem by looking at it is how it was, like the conversation was made me to feel. Like it just dumbfounded me. Then you're sitting there like, what?
Being iced out by the other kids, I had one girl in daycare say that there were no brown kids allowed in the play kitchen. And then that would move on to like kindergarten. Oh, we don't want to play with brown kids. And then that moves up to grade 1. They're like, oh, you can't color with us because you're brown. I always felt very different, but I didn't feel like I belonged with either side because I'm mixed with a white family. So it's like you're too black for the white kids, but you're too white for the, you know what I'm saying? Like it was just very confusing and isolating, kind of. But now that I'm like in older grades, it's a lot different than just cutting hair and no brown kids allowed. It's almost more brutal because it's more subtle. You know what I mean? It's like those little digs.
One example that affected her sibling a lot and that she was willing to share with me was an experience where her sibling had a friend who was of a racial minority but looked like a white person, and so they had another white friend who basically told them that they had to choose which one they would be friends with, the white person or my friend's sibling. Yes. So this is what the kids here in Newfoundland are having to experience, like having a friend who is basically not allowed to be friends with you because of the color of your skin.
I felt like I was an outcast mostly in school because when I came here, I went into junior high, which that was grade 8. And the experience that I got the most was like when I used to talk to people. Before actually approaching them, they used to think I don't really speak their language, that I don't speak English. But when I came here, I was perfectly good in English because I took classes in Africa, of course. So they think that I didn't speak the same language, and they're like, oh, stay away from her. She doesn't understand our language. And I'm hearing what exactly they're saying because obviously I understand. And that made me feel like maybe they think we're like we're not like them.
Sometimes people just have a look. I don't know if it's because I'm African, but you can tell if someone's just they don't like you, they don't want to talk to you. I've had people, like customers, avoiding me a little bit at work because they just don't want to. I've had people, every time they start a small talk, oh, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Sudan. Oh, no, like, where are you, like, really from? Because you don't look like that. You look Sri Lankan. You look Ethiopian. The biggest one I remember is that I was just walking in Walmart, I think, and a random person just came up to me. It's like with this super serious tone and like hand on my shoulder and everything. It's like, you're in Canada, you don't have to wear that. I've always gotten comments about how you're not gonna get a job if you dress like that. It's better to just take it off. It's better to just assimilate. It's better to just be, and that impacted me more than like racial discrimination. Because for a long while, I've just had been this on and off, like, should I not? Like, and I've like, it's like, if I take it off, how am I gonna like re-enter society now? Because I've had this image. Now people are like, oh, she's free. Oh, she's this. But if I don't take it off, oh, she's oppressed. Oh, she's that. So that caused a big dilemma. And it kind of made me question, how close am I in my faith? But thankfully, I've took some time to myself and reflected, and I was like, this is for me at the end of the day. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for me to get closer to my faith and to feel more comfortable in my own skin. And it's part of my identity now. And I'm very quick to fight on it too. No, yeah, proud of it.
One day, I asked him, I'm like, hey, when is like the best to hand in my timesheet? And he's like, just hand it to me now and I'll put it on my desk. So I'm like, okay. So I give it to him. He looks at it. He goes to his office for like a minute or two. He comes back. My last name is Hussein. He looks at me. He's like, are you sure you're not related to Saddam Hussein? And he said it so like in such a friendly manner too. Like it was never like something you'd expect out of him. And I was like in shock, and then I was like, wait, what just happened? And a lot of people like tend to do that. Like there was this other experience at school where my teacher, like it was a writing class, and she was just like asking me where I'm from, and I tell her where I'm from, and she goes, oh, like that's so beautiful, like you're so pretty, like I love your culture and stuff. And then she wrote my first and last name because she asked me for it like on the board, and she was like, what does this like? She was like, oh, what does this sweetheart remind you of, you know? And someone like raised their hand and was like, Saddam Hussein. And I'm like, again, like, are you serious? And I feel like so weak almost. I feel so vulnerable. I feel like I've built such a thick skin for myself when like it comes to like racism and discrimination. Like I almost like I always think of it like, oh, I don't want to think about it, I don't want to talk about it, because like I don't like experience it, but like it really like hurts me, because I'm like, I get it, like that's the only person you know with the same last name, but like it's better for you to, at this point, to not say anything than to compare me to like a whole like dictator.
I was the only black person or person of color in my class from grade 1 till grade 8. So like my entire life was centered around white people, and I guess I always wanted to be white because just like everyone around me was white, and I was like, why don't I look like them? And I'd just be walking around the hallways and being like, where is everyone who looks like me? Like, why am I the only one? And no one would ever talk about it too. Like, I guess I sort of got whitewashed and stuff because I wanted to be white so bad, and it's kind of affected me now because I'm kind of like stuck, confused, like, am I black or am I white? Like, obviously I have brown skin, but like in terms of like perspective and stuff, I feel like a lot of it is centered around what white people think. And I'd always be like, I feel like when I was younger, I always had to sort of stick to those opinions that other people had, like white people had. And I didn't really even like understand, and now I'm just realizing how weird and wrong some of the things were that they said and stuff. Still right now, I feel like I'm too white for the black, too white for the black kids, yeah, and too black for the white kids, so I'm like stuck in between, you know? Growing up, I didn't think I was pretty because, you know, my skin and what I look like, and like now I can just like tell random black girls I see and just be like, oh, you're absolutely gorgeous, and I love doing that. Like, I love empowering them.
I felt very, very isolated. I played like all the way through hockey since I was younger. I think I was probably the only person of color on my team. I think there might have been no, I don't think there was any really. So being isolated by not having anyone around you with similar struggles, being isolated by not having anyone to support you was another one. So just it's very, very alone in your own experiences. I think obviously, like I had zero self-confidence. I was always felt like less than. So I had years and years of dealing with this. I didn't realize how much I did feel like I was less than until I got older and realized how much it really did have an impact on me. So like no self-confidence was a big thing. No self-esteem, always less than.
Personally, I feel like the impact it has had on them is losing me. Because I don't feel like myself anymore. I haven't slept by myself since grade 7. Because they would threaten to come to my house in the middle of the night. They would say things that would have me physically unable to eat. They would say things to me that I'd be that sick, that tired, that drained, that I'd be back and forth to the hospital because my body decided to shut down on me on multiple occasions. I ended up getting really sick. I ended up with ulcers on my stomach due to stress. I have post-traumatic stress disorder from all of these experiences that I've experienced here. I cannot let my father go out the door without giving him the biggest type of hugs and having basically talks with him about, hey, this is what you're gonna do if you get pulled over. This is what you're gonna do if this one says to you. I have to have that talk with him every day. Even through text messages, I have to do it because I'm afraid for him. Because most of the attacks have been on me and my father. I've had talks with my mother about how do I fit into society. I ask her, I'd say this was grade 6 when I first ever asked her, how do I fit in with the white children? How do I be more white? How do I do this way to fit in with them? And when she explained to me on multiple occasions that I don't need to, it felt a little better, but it still didn't change the fact that they were making fun of the fact that my hair was different, or my hair was weird, or my nose was flat, or that I have a split in my chin, or that I look like this, or I'm built like this, or that I'm built different.
I have a lot of conversations with people that are from here, and they say, oh, Newfoundland is the nicest place you can ever be. It's like a safe haven. People here are so nice. And, I remember having one particular conversation with somebody, and they were like basically reinforcing that idea that, oh, Newfoundland is the nicest place. There's no racist people here and blah, blah, blah. And, when I tried to challenge him and say, listen, racism is everywhere. Oh, this person was not having it, right? And so, unfortunately, if we are going to have people like that in the community that are not even willing to accept that racism is a thing, then I don't think we are going anywhere at all in terms of trying to solve this problem, right?
And it starts with things like this, like with this documentary, with people speaking up. We have to start somewhere in order to see change. Sure. Because we're not going anywhere. We're staying here, so everybody has to get used to being together.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
We are a small dot in a big world. There are many different people, places, cultures, religions, morals, and values. And to be better global citizens, or even just be better citizens within your own country, you need to be more open and accepting of others. And realize that it's not just you are part of a big global sector.
I really just wish things didn't have to be this way, but unfortunately, it does. And we have to kind of live through it, but that doesn't mean we're gonna live in silence. We're always gonna advocate and change, and I really hope to see change because I can't be living like this for too long. No.
We need to educate everybody in the province so that there would be no more excuse so that when someone is racist, it is seen as racism and not seen as ignorance or seen as just a mean person.
People have to take an individual responsibility to not be a bystander.
There should be teachers of color. There should be some sort of support system there. Because it's like, you can go tell this teacher about what just happened to you, but that teacher's not really ever going to understand on that level, and to them it's just another high school incident.
Learn what it is to be an ally, be that ally. We need the allies in order to combat this, because apparently some people don't even understand how they're being racist. Some people don't even understand what it means. So knowledge and communication is how this will be defeated.
If there are any children or any colored or anybody in general who wants to come and learn or come and better their knowledge on how to counteract and diffuse racism, I have this here. This is Sharing Our Cultures by Dr. Loidetta Quaco. Come to the website. We are doing multiple things to educate. We are doing Imagine Space. We're counteracting and diffusing racism one step at a time. Please come and view this. Please come and join this. No matter who you are, no matter what your race is, come educate yourself, and we will educate you as well. We can have learning experiences. That's what this is about. It's not about villainizing anybody for racism. This is about educating on how to be better.